Hello, this is Photography Gamer. Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm reviewing Cities Skylines for the PS4. The game is also available for the Xbox One, Nintendo Switch and Microsoft Windows. Cities Skylines is a city building game developed by Colossal Order. So what is the game like to play? Well, you start with a clean plot of land that's attached to a freeway. Firstly, you have to build your infrastructure with roads, power stations and water supplies. Then, once you've got the basics, it's time to start zoning and dealing with piping to provide clean water, electricity and sanitation to your people. One cool feature is that you can designate zones in your city. Depending on whether you choose residential, industrial or commercial, this will dictate what structures spring out of the ground. It's a really clever system because if you had to build every building individually, it would become a massive chore, but this way it feels organic and like you're just the overseer of the city, which has a life of its own. One thing I would say is it takes about 2 to 3 hours to figure out how most things work in this game, so hang in there because initially it can be a bit frustrating. But once you get over the initial threshold, it's a very addictive and interesting game for city builders. As you progress, you will unlock more options for zoning and buildings, such as schools, hospitals and several other things. You have to consider the bank balance because everything costs money, and if you want to keep losing money, eventually your city will fall into disrepair. The game, it's constantly throwing new issues at you like potential flooding, pollution affecting the well-being of your citizens, or even the drinking water becoming polluted with waste. It's a constant challenge and it really does keep you on your toes. Like my first city I created, it looked great, but everyone ended up getting sewage for drinking water, so the next time I planned a much more sensible layout to make sure everyone could get access to all the things they needed. And that's really key to this game. It's about planning and forward thinking rather than just impulsively building. But there isn't a right or wrong way to build your city, so it does give you a real sense of freedom in how you want to progress. And I think that's a really good feature. Also, there are a huge amount of DLCs available that add new architectural options or scenarios that you have to complete. Visually, the game looks pretty good considering, and it's a really nice touch to see your city from a very, very high aerial view. And you can zoom right down to see the people going about their business, and it really adds a sense of satisfaction to the experience of watching your city grow. In terms of sound, it's okay. The music, it's annoying, but you can turn it off, thankfully. For me, the sound really comes into its own when you kind of zoom right down to city level, street level, and you get to hear the city ambience of the construction or the kind of commercial districts or the family districts. It really adds a sense of like you feel like it's a real city. Okay, what's good and what's bad? What's good? It's a comprehensive and in-depth experience. The freedom to build a city in your own image is liberating. The graphics are decent and the city looks alive. And it's a very addictive game with a long shelf life. What's bad? The first few hours are a bit of a struggle. The game can be quite complicated the bigger your city becomes. Some of the tutorials could have been better and there aren't a huge amount of architectural options unless you buy the DLCs. So what's the verdict? Cities Skylines is an in-depth and complex city building experience. It may take a while to get into, but once you do, you will be hooked. The freedom you have to create the city you want is really liberating, but it's also a real challenge to get your infrastructure right to keep your citizens happy and turn a profit. Personally, I quite enjoyed it. I'm not really a massive fan of city building games. I did play SimCity way back when, and this game really feels the same. It feels the same kind of sensation of playing SimCity to this. It's very chilled and relaxed until you start messing up your city, but it's really nice to see things grow over time, and there's a huge amount of gameplay in here, and personally I enjoyed it, and I think if you enjoy infrastructure kind of management games, I think you will like this. So my score for Cities Skylines is 8 out of 10. Okay, that was the review. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe. This is Photography Gamer signing off. Thank you.